coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, on just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. I know I'm late this morning, but I've been lazy today. I actually haven't been lazy. I've just been doing a bunch of little stuff that amounts to very little, or at least it feels that way. And I hate that. But I did want to come on here and do at least some type of live stream. I did want to do that. So, um, and all my stuff, you guys can hear me okay, right? Got me good. I was gaming yesterday, and yeah, things are on. They were on those settings, so I had to switch them all. So let's see who's here this morning. We had AVA. He was first. Vet firefighter Nancy. Yep, hit the like on the way in. Thank you, AVA. Voss, thank you. Nancy, good morning. Joan, good morning. TC, good morning. Who else we got? That's those are the big ones. So if drop a comment and you'll get a good morning from the skipper. uh, big payoff, I know. I yeah, I was just today there's the No Kings protest, so I hope your traffic isn't too screwed up today. Mine will not be, but I've been hanging out at home. Sorry about this. I'm trying to. Oh, there we go. My microphone got a little bit whopper jawed, so have to fix that. And so, what you guys don't know is in the background, I save almost every single one of my videos. Uh, even though, yeah, they're up on YouTube, but YouTube can take them down at any time. So I save them. And hey, Georgie, I see Georgie made it. I save them, and very quickly, that combined with gaming, my computer was very quickly running out of space. So I wanted to do some things with my computer. So I added a 2 terabyte solid state drive to it. And I did that last week, but it was not working for me. I I could not figure out why. And here it was a power issue. Um, I was running power through something else instead of just going right to the power block on my computer. So I fixed that. So the last 48 hours, I've been just moving and backing up everything, and it's taken up a lot of my CPU space. Uh, but it's healthy to do every once in a while. Um, and I haven't implemented it yet, but I think I am gonna do the thing that Georgie and Coop do, where I'm gonna put the ads on the max to get the max revenue, but I'll do a daily goal of super chats, and if we make it, ads will go completely off. I think that's kind of a fair way of doing things, because at the end of the day, it does cost me money to do this show. I'm not trying to get rich off this. But if I can get it to where, okay, well, I'm making enough that pays for certain things, like, because you got to think, I just added stuff to my computer, and that was not cheap. That was well over $100. Then I've got my internet that I pay for. Um, then Restream is a subscription. So just so you guys have some transparency, this is not. I'm not trying to get rich. And I don't like asking for super chats. This is a thing of, if you guys want to give a super chat, you can. If not, we'll watch ads. It's a choice. And I always think choices are better than a lot of other stuff. So there we go. I think I've made that decision. I thought about it for a while. And I think I kind of let you guys know that. I just had an ad for Papa Murphy's Pizza. I've never had Papa Murphy's. I've had a lot of different ones. There's no Marco's nearby me. Like, it's an hour away for the closest Marco's, but we got Papa John's, we got Domino's, we've got Little Caesars here in town. Then we got a local place, um, and that's a New York pizza. And they do it. They, I believe, they do by the slice. I know there's a place in Joshua Tree that does by the slice. Um, So yeah, and I've got nothing planned other than I want to go through my picks for college football today. And I know that's going to piss off TC. He does not like sports. Oh well. No, cat, get out of here. I'm not dealing with you this morning. You've already been a pain. A couple games are going on right now. LSU and Vanderbilt. LSU's going to win that one. Um, Duke and Duke and Georgia Tech. I'm picking Georgia Tech. I think they're going to win that. But Duke could be a spoiler. Let me get the odds. So let's see what they're the odds, the spread, and the money line. I am not I can be a degenerate gambler, but I'm not. We had Papa Murphy's last night. Chain pizza sucks. Marine balls. Uh, oh, Pizzaology. Yeah, I've tried it. Eh, it's okay. It's okay. Um, let's see. Army, Army, and Tulane. And Tulane is favored by 10.5. Yeah, Tulane's gonna cover. They'll they'll win by 2 touchdowns. I'm guessing. Um, Oklahoma, South Carolina. Oklahoma is favored by 4.5. Yeah, I got a feeling they're gonna cover. West Virginia and Central Florida. Central Florida is favored by 7.5. I'm going with a spoiler there. I'm going to go with West Virginia. Think of watching ads as sticking it to the big corporations, let them pay for our entertainment. Nothing says you need to pay attention. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, watching the ads or doing a super chat, either way, you know, I'll get something. Um, I don't, you know, I don't care. I'm not going to do FCS teams. I'm just going to skip over all those. Does it give me a chance? No, it doesn't give me the thing. Okay. Let's look. Buffalo versus UMass. Or actually, let's do uh, Kent State versus Toledo. Toledo's favored by 25, 24 and a half. I love Toledo. Worked for the team, but they didn't play well last week. They had a lot of they lost. They allowed 24 unanswered points, and it was all due to penalties. So I'm gonna think that Kent is going to cover the spread but still lose. So I'm saying Toledo by 10. The casinos are taking Toledo by 24 and a half. No. Buffalo Bulls versus UMass. Buffalo is favored by 15 and a half. I think they're going to do that. Yeah. Uh, well, it's not afternoon my time. It's still morning here. You're staying clear of the No Kings protest. I don't blame you. All and people were laughing at me. I'm like, they were all okay with Obama's ours. And like TC wants me to talk about the history of that. Have there been other people who've done czars, other presidents? Yes. But there were no protests. Like people weren't protesting, but now they're protesting. So how can you explain to me Obama was giving people crazy authority to do whatever. Trump isn't. So how are you going to say no kings? Like, and the thing is, Trump is following the law. I know people don't like to hear that, but there's a reason why all these federal judges, and that was just in the New York Times. And I'll probably get to that. The New York Times ran an article. All these district judges are really mad about the shadow court. What it is there's the shadow docket or the emergency docket to the Supreme Court where you can the Trump administration can say, "Hey, we want this taken immediately to the court about this ruling," and it's normally injunctions. And uh, Trump has done very well. Pam Bondi and I forget the Solicitor General's name and Harmeet Dillon, they are like something like 24-1 in less than a year at the Supreme Court because you have what happens is all these people they're court shopping in many cases. Judge shopping is what it is, but they'll take it to the most favorable courts like the DC court or the Second Circuit court, and you know they're then finding you know liberal activist judges who are like, yeah, Trump can't do this, and it's all things that are well within his authority, and they're losing, and these district judges are mad about it. And it's like, well, stop trying to game the system because that's the first thing that's happening. They're trying to game the system, and which is wrong. It's legal, but it's wrong. Um, and then the rulings, like some of these rulings, saying, "Oh, Trump can't do that." Oh, absolutely, he can. And like the whole thing with U.S. aid. Trump can't stop that funding. Yes, he can. He 100 Congress allocated that money. Congress allocates the money in the budget for purposes. The president gets to designate who's going to actually fulfill that. Chess versus checkers. Absolutely, vet firefighter. And this time, like I was talking yesterday, he doesn't have people working against him the way that he did previously. Back to College football, we got Purdue versus Northwestern. Northwestern coming off a very big win. They're predicted to win by 3.5. I think they'll win, but I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say Purdue keeps it within 4 points. Uh, let's see. We have Texas A&M and M and Arkansas. Texas A&M is favored by 7.5. I think they cover that. I think they win by 10. Ole Miss, Georgia. Um, Georgia is favored by 7.5. I think Georgia wins, but I think Old Miss. I think Georgia wins, but I think it's going to be by a field goal, not 7.5. Yeah, let's hope people at these protests remains respectful. Don't start destroying property. Don't start hurting people. That's never good. I have no problem with any type of protest, but uh, you have time, place, manner restrictions for one, and then the next thing is, yeah, you don't destroy property. Let's see. Okay. Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Ohio State's picked by 25.5, but they're playing at Wisconsin. I will take Ohio State, but I'll tell you this. We'll know probably in the first 5 minutes of that game. I think Ohio State never plays well at Wisconsin. So while I'm taking Ohio State with the points, giving up 25.5 points, I would not be surprised if it ends up closer than that because they never play well at Wisconsin. Wisconsin always brings their A game against Ohio State, especially when they're at home. So that could be close. I could be very wrong on that one. Michigan State and Indiana. Michigan State or Indiana is favored by 28 points over Michigan State, and Indiana is rocking and rolling right now. 28's a lot, but I'm gonna say Indiana. It's not often that I can pick Indiana by 28 points. But yeah, I think Indiana is the real deal. I think they've proven that. Uh, let's see, SMU versus Clemson. Clemson is favored by 3.5. Um, Clemson started off really bad. They really dropped the ball early on, but I think they're starting to find their feet. So I'm going to take Clemson. Um, that's a potential spoiler there. Of SMU could win that game. Air Force versus Wyoming. Air Force is favored by 5. I think they win by 5. I actually think they'll probably win by double digits. Um, even though they've got a really bad record right now, but they played some tougher teams than them. UNLV versus Boise. Boise is predicted by 13.5. I actually think UNLV is gonna. I think they're gonna win that outright. So I'm taking UNLV. I can't believe Boise is predicted by that much. We got Coastal Carolina versus Appalachian State. Appalachian State picked by 10.5. I think Appalachian State wins. Coastal Carolina covers. Um, let's see. We got Texas State Bobcats versus the Marshall Thundering Herd. Texas State favored by 2.5. Now I've actually been to Marshall uh, several times, seen that fan base. Even when the team is not doing well, which they're not at their peak right now, it's a hard place to play. I'm going to say Marshall wins that game. Texas State is picked by 2.5. I think Marshall actually wins the game. We got Temple versus Charlotte. Temple is picked by 11.5. I think they cover that. I think they safely cover that. I'm shocked it's only 11.5. Temple's not traditionally a good team, but they haven't been that bad this year. We got Texas San Antonio versus North Texas. North Texas is favored by 4.5. I think North Texas covers. Akron versus Ball State. Akron is uh, favored by 1.5. I think they cover. Uh, Northern Illinois versus Ohio. Uh, Ohio University is favored by 10.5. I think Ohio covers safely. This is a real down year for Northern Illinois. Normally a very, very good team. Let's see who else we got. We got Texas Tech versus Arizona State. Texas Tech predicted to win by 6.5. I think they cover that. Memphis versus UAB. Memphis is predicted 21.5. I think they cover. I would take Memphis. They've been hot all year, 6-0. They have something to prove. Now, when you're that good, everybody's going to bring their they're going to circle you on the calendar. They want to be the best against you. Um, so, you know, eventually, I think Memphis is someone's going to get. They're going to overlook somebody, and someone's going to shock them. But I don't think it's going to be UAB. Not today. Uh, Mississippi State versus Florida. Florida is favored by 9.5. They're going to cover that. I think they're going to win 2 touchdowns. Southern Miss versus Louisiana. Southern Miss is favored by 3.5. Uh, I think uh, I think they cover that. No problem. I think they win by a touchdown. Ba, ba, ba. Oregon versus Rutgers. Oregon is predicted by 17.5. I think they cover. They're coming off a bad loss to Indiana. Well, not a bad loss. They lost to Indiana, who's a very good team, and they were in it the whole game. It was back and actually, I think Indiana would go ahead, and if I remember correctly, Oregon would catch right back up. Um, but it was I do remember it was movement the whole game. So Oregon, not a bad team, one loss. They're going to cover. Um, yeah, 17.5 points. They're gonna cover that. Washington State and Virginia Cavaliers. I've been to many Virginia games. Virginia is favored by 17.5. They're having a great year, and I, I think they have a statement to make. So I think Virginia. I think Virginia covers. That's a potential to not cover, though. I think Virginia will win the whole game, but they could. That could actually end up close. Texas versus Kentucky. Texas is favored by 12.5. Um, the their quarterback, who's a freshman, Archie Manning, he's starting to come into his own. They're starting to realize he's not a pocket passer. He's a running quarterback, option quarterback. That's how they need to do. They need to run him out of the Wildcat against the Wildcats. I think Texas wins. Do they cover 12.5? I don't think so. I think they'll win by 10, no problem. For them to get over to win by 13, they'd have to be on all game. I'll say that. Um, so I could be wrong on this pick. Penn State versus Iowa. Penn State coming off a very bad loss against Northwestern. Their coach got fired. Um, they are in a complete free for all. They could pull out of it. Uh, Iowa would probably be a good team for them to do that, but I think Iowa wins. I don't think they figure things out today. Let's see, Maryland, UCLA. Maryland, UCLA is predicted to win by 3.5. Um, I think I'm going to take Maryland, but I think that's going to be close. I think Maryland wins. I would absolutely take the points there. But I think Maryland will win that one straight up. I think UCLA after their big win, I think they're high as a kite right now. Uh, but I think they'll be sleeping against Maryland. Hawaii versus Colorado. Colorado is favored by 1.5. I think Colorado wins by way more than 1.5. I'd give up those points. Let's see. Right, Jam? I do have a puppet video. I do have one. It's in the waiting. Um, Tennessee versus Alabama. Big rivalry game. I hate rivalry games that fall during the season. But with Alabama, they do play Auburn during Rivals Week, so Tennessee's an early one. Much like Texas and Oklahoma, it's one that never falls Rivals Week. They have Alabama predicted by 8.5. I think Alabama is overrated. I have not seen anything impressive out of them. I think Tennessee will have their number. I think Tennessee's hungry. I think Tennessee wins the game straight up. So yeah, I would absolutely take the. I probably would not take the points with Tennessee. I would take the. I wouldn't take the spread. I'd take the money line. USC versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 10.5. They're playing at Notre Dame. Uh, Hard place to play. USC, they came off a big win. I think Notre Dame catches them sleeping. Had they lost to had USC lost to Michigan last week, I'd probably be taking them this week because I think they'd be hungry. But I think Notre Dame started off very slow. Uh, they went 0-2. They've won 4 in a row. I think they keep rolling. Pittsburgh versus Syracuse. Pittsburgh is favored by 9.5. I think Syracuse covers. Syracuse actually does not have a bad team this year. Florida Atlantic versus South Florida. South Florida is favored by 20. I think they win. I think they win by 17, 14 to 7, 14, 17 points around there. I would not. I would take Florida Atlantic with the points, but I think South Florida wins straight up. Missouri at Auburn. Missouri is 5-1. This is going to be the game that shows me if Missouri is real or not. They're favored by 1.5. I would probably take Missouri to cover that. Auburn could beat them, but not a lot of points there. I think Missouri is going to show us if they're the real deal or not today. We have Utah versus BYU. Utah is favored by 3.5. They have one loss. BYU has no losses. A guy I went to school with actually is one of the coordinators at Utah. Uh, so I will be cheering for them. However, I think an upset is in the mix. I think BYU does have the better team. They're at BYU. I think it's just too much for Utah. We'll see. But I would take BYU with the points. Um, I think they'll win straight up, but again, I could be wrong about that one. That's probably why that is not a bigger game. I don't know. People aren't really looking at that game. Maybe they consider the others just be that much bigger. Cincy versus Oklahoma State. Cincy is favored by 23.5. I think they win by more than that. I think that's going to be like a 30-point win. Um, Nevada Wolfpack versus New Mexico Lobos. Uh, the pack is struggling right now. New Mexico is favored by 13.5. I think New Mexico covers safely. Lafayette Leopards versus Oregon State. Oregon State is rough, but they are favored by 21. Lafayette is, um, yeah, not the strongest team. I think Oregon finally gets a win. Florida State versus Stanford. Florida State is favored by 18.5. Stanford's been struggling this season. I think Florida State covers the 18.5 without an issue. So there we go. That's what I wanted to get to, and we've gotten through it. So those of you who don't like college football, move on. But for those who do, you now have me on the record. You can yell at me on how much I suck and what I'm wrong about later. Uh, let's see. Oh, okay, okay. I'm all my games are still downloading, so they're moving. You're gonna okay. Is your live stream? Do you have that set up? Because I'll get off here and I'll redirect everyone. Do you have it scheduled, TC? If not, I'll redirect to people after you go live. Um, but yeah, let me see if I can get up that New York Times article. Um, shadow docket. Let's see if it. Okay. Well, it let me because they do everything behind the paywall, and I hate that. Okay, here we go. I'll share it. Weirdest thing I've ever seen in Vegas. Ooh. Um, I'm trying to think. What's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in Vegas? I used to really enjoy. I'm trying to make this as big as possible. Okay, I guess this is going to be the best way to do it. I just love how weird Vegas is in general. Um, let's see. I because I like to go out at 2 a.m. I'll I'll sleep for a bit, set an alarm, wake up, get a beer, and just go out on the strip at like 2 a.m. when the bars are starting to close because that's where you see all the shit shows happening. Um, I did see a woman. It was a bachelorette party. You see, yeah, I knew it was going to do this to me. So let me see if I can get it from archive.org. Sometimes they've been archived. I hate I hate newspapers who do shit behind the paywall just because you can't sell papers. All right, let's see if I can. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find this article to where I can read it at least. See, that's the thing. I was able to read it on some things. Okay. No, no, no. No. Oh, is this it? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. No wonder why. For a short puppet skit. Okay. And here, what I'll do is I'll turn off ads. Um, for at least the little bit that I'll be left on here, I'll turn off ads. There we go. Ads are now off. So thank you. Thank you for the super chat. And who was that? That was Susie. Susie, thank you.
I like money.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do appreciate that. Um, and yeah, the new article I can't pull up. All right, TC. TC will go live and we'll redirect to him when I get off here. Um, is the weirdest thing in Vegas the guy who sets an alarm to get up at 2 a.m. so he can be the only one sober one watching everyone else? Yeah, it's weird, but I'm telling you, it is worth it. It is worth it. It's hilarious. Okay. So now I got it up. The Wayback Machine did archive it. So, federal judges warning of judicial crisis. Dozens of sitting justices shared with the Times their concerns about risks. Sorry, something popped up on me. Risks to the court's legitimacy as the Supreme Court releases opaque orders about Trump administration policies. Okay, the, the Supreme Court does not like to do interlocutory appeals and interlocutory decisions. That means while the case is going on, they don't like to interfere. But if there's an injunction or if there's a ruling that's going to prevent the administration from doing something, they get to ask the Supreme Court, "Hey, can you put this on pause, or can you like shut this down?" And normally the court's pretty good, as you're seeing. If there's a solid case, they will pause it, and but they don't like doing until they can actually get everybody and ask questions and um, go through all the legal arguments. They don't like to make a decision, so they might just say, "Hey, we'll pause this," but they rarely do. Or if they do a decision, if there's another decision, they might say, "Hey, you need to rule on this in light of this decision," and they're kind of showing we think this is the right way, and they'll give it back to that district court judge. Um, so this is what the New York Times did right here, and it is really, really disingenuous. So uh, they did this poll. Okay, now these are just people who are nominated by the different parties. Okay, 37 by Democrats, 28 by Republicans. You do realize. So if let's say, let's use Massachusetts as an example. They have two Democrat senators for district court judges. District court, not appeals, not Supreme Court. There is, they call it the blue rule, is I believe what it's called, like blue chip rule. So the president doesn't really nominate the district judges, the senators do. They'll give a list of people they approve of and tell the president, choose from this list. Like these are the ones that, or maybe the president will send them a list and be like, these are the people I'd like to nominate as a district court judge. They will agree and or disagree. But without a senator from that state uh, saying, yeah, I want this person, that the people that the president want, they don't go. So it's only from pre-approved, and a lot of times if there's no agreement, a lot of times the president will just say, okay, well then I just won't nominate somebody, and that happens quite a bit. But yeah, like, so it is, depending on the states in the district, it gets very skewed as to the makeup. So just because it says 37 by Democrats doesn't mean those are all liberals. Like Biden had to take nominees from many Republican states where um, where both senators are Republican. Actually, there's districts where there's like maybe one Democrat senator in the whole appeals court district. So this is skewed to begin with. What they did was they did this. It's a non-scientific poll where they went to the courts where these decisions are being made. Okay, so these are where people are going and they're court shopping. So your DC Circuit Court will be in here, Second Circuit Court, Ninth Circuit Court. They're going to the more liberal courts, so it's skewed liberal to begin with, and then when you come into these judges, might not have been, like there might not have been any Republican senators. So uh, even though it's a Republican nominated person nominated by Trump, as 10 of these 28 are, they might be very, very Democrat because um, there's only two senators from the Democrat Party from the state. So it's this whole poll is bullshit. This is not a scientific poll. More than 3 dozen federal judges have told the New York Times that the Supreme Court's flurry of brief, opaque emergency orders in cases related to the Trump administration have left them confused about how to proceed in these matters and are hurting the judiciary's image with the public. Okay, this is not a poll of the public. So these judges, these activist judges, they don't know what the public wants. This is bullshit right here. This is nowhere close to what the um, this is nowhere close to what the public feels. These are just the judges' opinions. and these are judges in liberal-leaning courts of very liberal states. It doesn't matter that, Trump picked some of them. It doesn't matter that Bush picked some of them, because if it's a blue state, they probably didn't have much to pick from. They probably went with the least crazy one. Um, and that happened. I guarantee you Biden did the same thing. At issue are the quick turn orders the Supreme Court has issued dictating whether Trump administration policies should be left in place while they are litigated through the lower courts. That emergency docket, a growing part of the Supreme Court's work in recent years, has taken on greater importance in the flood of litigation challenging President Trump's efforts to expand executive power. These aren't expansions of executive power in most of these cases. In most of these cases, these are things that absolutely the president can do. It's just you have an activist judge who says, no, you can't do that. And when these appeals have gone up, as like in the case of Judge Boasberg, they've been struck down by both the appeals court and the Supreme Court. Um, While orders are technically temporary, they do have a broad practical effects, allowing administration to deport tens of thousands of people. Well, it's an emergency. Why is it an emergency? Because you're affecting the administration's policy. When you do an injunction, you're affecting that administration. So the administration has full well to go right to the Supreme Court and say, "Hey, this is affecting the people's chosen president to move on the agenda that they chose." Um, the striking and highly unusual critique of the nation's highest court from lower court judges reveals the degree to which litigation over tr- over Trump's agenda has created strains in the federal judicial system. 65 judges responded to a Times questionnaire. Again, this is a bullshit poll. Why didn't you just do a random sample of federal judges? Why didn't you? That would actually tell you, because when you get to these other judges, they'd be like, no, when you get the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh circuit, they're like, yeah, no, this happens all the time. Like, if you weren't so trying to stop his agenda and just say, okay, well, let's go on with the case and rule that way instead of doing emergency injunctions every single time, there would be no need to go to the Supreme Court. But these activist judges are outing themselves. So yeah, this is about the poll, which is it's bullshit. It's a skewed poll. Um, but this is the New York Times. Yeah, the Times reached out to more than 400 judges, including every judge in districts that have handled at least one challenge to a major piece of Trump's agenda. So what you have is a poll saying that the judges who have been overruled by the Supreme Court are mad that they overruled. Shock. This poll shows nothing else. These graphics show nothing else. The New York Times is completely and totally untrustworthy, just doing all this bullshit. Sue, it's funny because I have jury duty this week. I have to show up on Monday. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So don't expect there to be a show on Monday. I might do something quick on the drive, but that's about it. For now, his administration can withhold some forms of congressionally appropriated funds. He can withhold those funds as long as they get appropriated by the end of the fiscal year. Trump is well within his rights. Well within his rights. And we've seen that time and time again. And the appeals courts have even jumped in. Like the second appeals court has even jumped in on this. So to go to the district court judges who are upset that they've been overruled, okay, stop your freaking whining. It has nothing to do with how the public sees the Supreme Court. It has nothing to do with the legitimacy of the court. It has to do with these justices or these judges, district court judges, being unhappy. And I wanted to touch base because I'm sure some of you have saw that article or heard people talking about it because it was making its rounds. And I just wanted to highlight, like, it's full of bullshit. It is completely and totally a rigged poll. So guys, um, is TC. I think he's live right now. Let's see. We're going to see if he's live. Yep, he's live right now. So let me set up the redirect, and then I will end the show and we'll go straight over to him because he's and he could be in some shit today because he's going to No Kings protest. He does not agree with a lot of the people there. We might see TC get punched. I don't hope that. I don't hope that. It'll be great content for him. But yeah, we may see it. So guys, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna do the short exit out of here, and we'll go over and watch TC. Thank you, and as always, thank you for being worth serving.